Hello, welcome back for our Unit 2 discussion board here in our US History 2 course. This week the question is pretty simple. For most immigrants traveling into the United States during the late 19th century, was the ideal of the American dream an achievable goal? And what I want you to do in order to do this is look at this political, economic, social, and or cultural aspects of whatever argument you're going to make. I've been talking a lot about arguments in these videos because that's a big part of historical study. We all know that you can represent a situation in different ways depending on kind of your own perspectives and what kind of slant you're trying to put on things. And so what I want you to do here is to first think about and conceptualize what was the American dream during the 19th century. One of the things that I would kind of point you towards is the idea that the American dream, I don't know, has changed that radically. Maybe some of the things associated with it. Nobody in the 19th century is looking for a cell phone or an infinity pool behind their house, but I still think upward mobility is a big part of that, and that's part of American identity. I think concepts like competency, I think about the historian Daniel Vickers, who wrote a book called Farmers and Fishermen that's really important in the 1990s, and talked about this idea that most people in America want to create a better life for their children. He was looking at farmers and fishermen in colonial New England and how they wanted to achieve what he called intergenerational competency, providing something to pass on to their children that would provide them with a good life. In that instance, it was a farm. And I don't know that that's changed that much in the United States. I think the American dream is still making something of yourself, but I want you to think about what the American dream maybe means to you. And then as you evaluate that, are those political aspirations? Are they things you aspire to have a voice? I would look at that as a political factor. As I talked about evaluating evidence over in the other video, the idea that there are different kind of facets to this. And so when you think about political factors in relation to the American dream, I don't mean that everybody wants to become president of the United States. I mean, that's an honorable goal. Maybe you want to run for your local city council. But in this instance, if we were to evaluate the political evidence of the American dream, it might be things like civil rights. It might be the ability to spark change in one's kind of own circumstances. Economically, I think there's a big part of the American dream, and I want you to think about that evidence as well. What did people hope to achieve economically as they were working towards the American dream and they came to this country in the 19th century? I know in this part of the country, in Iowa where I live, and this is what I study as well, most of the people that were coming as immigrants from other countries during the 19th century were hoping to have access to land and in order to spur some type of economic success. The idea that if you were from a country like Switzerland or specific parts of Germany or Norway, Denmark, where a lot of the people from this part of the country originally came from, they were hoping to come and have better access to land. Social and cultural aspects are also important. What did people think about America and the laws, languages, established customs, and their ability to organize social relationships? A lot of the people immigrating to the United States during the 19th century moved with other groups that were similar to them. I think about in my own family history, on my mom's side, her great grandfather moved here from Sweden, and he relocated to an agricultural community in western Nebraska where a lot of other Swedes lived. On my dad's side, virtually everyone came from Ireland during the 19th century, and they went, and originally one of my dad's great aunts was a nun who got shipped to the United States, and then all of her family came behind, and they ended up settling in Chicago so they could have easy access to the industrial jobs in the meatpacking industry there. All of these different things and the ability to maybe be around people you're like, the appeal of laws and languages, different protections, all of these things can figure into how people thought about the American dream as they immigrated to the United States during the 19th century. I'm really excited to see what you guys have to say about it. I look forward to reading your responses. Put your best foot forward this week, and I'll see you right back here next week as we continue our discussion.